The following video game review may contain language and opinions some may find offensive. Children, certain family members, and possible future employers may want to avoid proceeding. However, this video is for entertainment purposes only and is not meant to be taken seriously. Enjoy.
Hey there, Dalton Humble Gamer here. I'm sure most of you have a favorite superhero. Maybe it's from reading comics as a kid, or maybe it's a new acquired fandom from one of the 60 superhero movies that came out the last 2 years. Perhaps you're more of a Marvel person, so you like one of these guys. Or maybe you like DC and it's one of these guys. The point I'm trying to make is, I'm willing to bet as sure as shit isn't Pepsi Man. What, never heard of Pepsi Man? The reason is probably because he was only popular in Japan. Pepsi Man was a Japanese mascot developed in the mid-90s. He was in several commercials, usually saving the day with Pepsi Cola and clumsily getting injured. And he was pretty damn creepy. I mean, look at his mouth. What the hell, Japan? His first appearance in the video game industry was actually as an unlockable character in the 1996 Sega Saturn port of Fighting Vipers. However, he was only available in the Japanese version. Go figure. But in 1999, the planets would align and the thirst-quenching superhero would get his own PlayStation title developed by Kid. But as you probably guessed, it was only released in Japan. I found Pepsi Man one day when I was searching for PlayStation ROMs online. I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. So, what am I waiting for? Let's play this strange Japanese marketing stunt that Pepsi calls a video game. So when we start out the game, we have this Randy Quaid lookalike getting Pepsi out of a soda machine. He takes a drink and he starts to hear the Pepsi Man theme. Oh, come on. I press start and I see Randy Quaid fill his arms with Pepsi and chips.
Hey, let's start the game!
Then onto a piss-poor animated cutscene.
I got a call that a vending machine ahead ran out of Pepsi.
Why does this guy sound so out of breath? Did he just run a mile? I guess Japanese children wouldn't be able to tell the difference anyway. So the winded Pepsi truck driver tells us that on the way to go fill a vending machine, his truck got a flat and citizens are about to riot. Wow, I'm enthralled already. Okay, so we start out running down a suburban street. The whole idea of the game is to dodge obstacles and collect Pepsi cans. Pepsi Man runs forward on his own, so all you have to do is move side to side and jump over and slide under. The D-pad moves Pepsi Man left and right, X jumps, and square slides. The controls aren't that hard to grasp. So far, so good. I'm just running down the middle of the road like a douche, avoiding people, trucks, manholes, construction pits, assholes on jackhammers. You know, just your average walk down the street. Don't mind me, just destroying the side of your house. I have to get people their Pepsi. You know, it's important. So like I said, you have to avoid obstacles and collect Pepsi. So many cans get you more lives and do something with health, I think. There are also different power-ups, downgrades, and just different modes of transportation. One of which being this totally rad skateboard, dude! You know, just your typical 90s attempt from big business to be down with the kiddies. This skateboard must also increase his calf strength or something because he jumps like 25 feet in the air when he rides it. Eat that, Tony Hawk! Sometimes Pepsi Man runs into a building or something and then gets a trash can stuck on his head. When that happens, the controls become inverted. Left is right and right is left. It actually makes things kinda challenging, and it's a pain in the ass later in the game. There's also a can roll thing he does. Kinda like a lumberjack on a log, like on a tree in the river, you know what I mean. After a while, the gaps get pretty damn annoying. Their placing gets too close together, and then avoiding obstacles becomes even harder. If you get hit with something or trip, then you don't have enough momentum to clear the pit. And then sometimes one of these assholes hits you with a metal beam and you fall back into the hole. Oh, come on! As you play it and mess up, it starts to become a bit of a memory game. Then there are these gaps that just seem too damn big. It teases you with a line of Pepsi cans, but are you really going to risk it? Don't be a hero, Pepsi Man! On top of the obstacles, there's also a time limit. Oh no, what happens if Pepsi Man doesn't reach the people in time? He drops dead. Alright. Other than just running into oncoming traffic like a douchebag, Pepsi Man also has to run away from something in each stage. The screen is then reversed, and then he has to run towards us, avoiding trash cans, bikes, boxes, a bunch of other shit, all coming from the front of the screen this time. This proves pretty difficult. You only get like 3 slip-ups before you get run over. And it always seems that I die right before the end of the scene. Come on, Pepsi Man. No, jump! Jump, come on, damn it! Ah! Look how close I was! Look how close I was! I was so close to the checkpoint, look! In one of these scenes, he's running from a tractor and trailer. I suppose they got this idea from one of their commercials. But why can't the driver get it under control, for God's sakes? Surely the brakes didn't go out. And even if they did, would he really keep going forward for like 20 minutes? And finally, when you run down a side street at the end of the stage, the truck just crashes off screen. What about the driver? Pepsi Man is just like, fuck him, I've got other shit to worry about.
Pepsi, please!
Each of the stages has some sort of cutscene introducing the new environment and the extraordinarily complex storyline. But before we get to that, let's discuss the live action cutscenes before the animated cutscenes. I mean, damn, you think that's enough shit between each stage? Anyway, the FMVs consist of Randy Quaid guzzling down Pepsi and making some comment about your gameplay, followed by the worst advertising I have ever seen in a video game.
You're doing pretty good. Have a Pepsi.
Alright, that's not too bad. But then as time progresses, he starts speaking in broken English.
Pepsi for TV game.
Pepsi for TV game? What? Were they just like, hey man, look, you're not being Asian enough? I mean, are you kidding me? He's dressed like a slob and he looks disgusting. Thanks, Japan, for making him look stereotypically American, but speaking stereotypically Japanese. Maybe it was unintentional. The game is riddled with translation errors like Get Pepsi and Record Get. And don't get me started on the music. The first stage uses the Pepsi Man theme from the commercials, but then each of the stages tries to mix it up with a new rendition of the song, which results in this. Pepsi Man! I don't know if they were trying to do some sort of remix or the game is just f***ing up. Whatever, it sounds like shit. But don't worry, you'll have all 7 versions of the Pepsi Man theme stuck in your head for a week. Okay, I'm starting to get way off track. Let's get back to the environments. Before the second stage, Pepsi Man talks to a firefighter that tells us a building is on fire in the city and that people are exhausted and need Pepsi. Whatever. Holy shit! That was a bit of an understatement. A building on fire? It looks like the city is a fucking war zone. Cars are blowing up and shit. People are out on the street. What the hell happened here? So Pepsi Man runs through Baghdad or whatever city he's in, through some construction and then gets to the vending machine at the end of the level, where he falls through a manhole and into the sewers. The sewer stage is alright until Pepsi Man makes it to the subway. I jump the gaps and then avoid these assholes when I come to a train. I dodge the first one and then get hit by the second. Alright, I just messed up. Let's try it again. Shit. I can't get past it. Alright, I'll try to jump. That didn't work. Alright, let's just try to stay to the right then. Damn it! What the hell? That didn't work either. Get your ass over there. Come on, damn it. I know that's where I'm supposed to go. There's Pepsi cans there, and there's nowhere else to go. I don't get it. I seriously did this shit like 120 times. After giving up and just looking online, I find out that there's a dash move I don't know about. Apparently, if you hold square and up on the D-pad, you sprint forward. How the hell was I supposed to know about this? It doesn't say jack shit about a sprint move in the controls menu. And why would it be up and square? What about the 8 other buttons on the PlayStation controller? Are you kidding me? So now that my eyes have been opened to the dash move, I finally get past the damn train. But it's still annoying as all hell. You have to hit up and square just the right way or it'll just slide. Half the time I'm in the heat of the gameplay and I don't hit it right and then I just end up sliding into a pit. That is some major bullshit. And who puts a checkpoint in front of a gap? What the f*** are they trying to do? This game is really starting to piss me off. But it's so damn addictive, I can't stop. It's ruining my life, but I just can't quit. It's just like crystal meth. Pepsi Man on the PlayStation is like crystal meth. So I try to leave the subway through a mass of people waiting to board their train. Get the f*** out of the way! Jesus, this is annoying. It was funny at first, but then it started slowing me down and preventing me from getting to the end of the scene. Watch out! bitch! So now I have to jump across the tops of buildings. For God's sake. Hurry! As if I'm not trying. I'd probably have beaten it a while ago if it wasn't for all the damn people in the way. Fucking move! Look, almost there. Jump, Pepsi Man! Ugh! Alright, let's try this again. What? He missed? Are you kidding me? Oh, that was supposed to happen. So stage 3 is the Wild West stage, I guess. Some military guy says something about a crash-landed plane, and oh, guess what? The passengers need Pepsi! Sure, I shouldn't expect Oscar-worthy writing by now. So Pepsi Man is running down a desert road, avoiding traffic, logs falling off the back of a truck, and these dickhead bikers. Okay, everything else could have been considered by coincidence, such as the worst moving company in the world losing someone's personal belongings out the back of their truck. But these bikers are intentionally trying to stop Pepsi Man. What, are they a part of Coke's Angels or something? And when you get hit by one of the bikers, Pepsi Man flies 100 feet in the air like a cartoon. It's funny the first time, but then it just starts to piss you off. So Pepsi Man gets past the bikers, runs through a car wash, and refuels on, you guessed it, Pepsi! Before we know it, he's rejuvenated and dodging Buffalo? Oh my god, now Buffalo want him dead? Watch out, Pepsi Man! Watch out for the fucking buffalo! The next part is a pain in the ass. Pepsi Man escapes the buffalo and then has to do a barrel roll over a very narrow board across a gap. Your accuracy has to be like 100% or you're gonna fall to your death. Attempting that dumbness about 20 times, we find Pepsi Man running through a coal mine and avoiding boulders like Indiana Jones, only to be run over by more buffalo and get thrown into more logs. Alright, anyone else see a pattern? Run and dodge obstacles, run and dodge obstacles. Save people, and then run and dodge obstacles while being chased by a large object facing forward. Also, how is this pile of logs throwing... You know what, never mind, I don't care. Now we're to the fourth and final stage. Pepsi Man talks to a cop who tells us that the mainframe computer of Pepsi City is malfunctioning, so nobody can get their Pepsi. Wait, really? Okay, yeah, just listen for yourself.
It looks like the main computer of Pepsi City went out of control a little while ago. There isn't enough Pepsi for everyone, and violence has flared up amongst those wanting Pepsi.
So apparently, society as we know it relies on a steady supply of Pepsi, which is controlled by a supercomputer in Pepsi City. I told you it had a riveting plot. I mean, look at all this shit. Traffic lights are out, which is causing all kinds of wrecks, and people are dying of thirst. Look, they're dead. There are dead people lying in the street. Fucking dead because of a Pepsi shortage. Damn. Come on, Pepsi Man, you have to save the day. People are dying out here. Oh, come on, not the damn trash can shit again. Oh, get hit by a truck and shoot straight up in the air. Grand. Oh, come on, you just fell down. Take the damn garbage can off your head while you're down there. You dumb shit. Uh-oh, we're going into the Pepsi Factory. It's about to get real. But seriously, this is one of the hardest levels I've ever played in a PlayStation game. In Pepsi Factory, there are these conveyor belts that Pepsi Man has to run across. They go in different directions and have all kinds of shit moving around on them. This scene is so damn annoying. You have to jump the gaps, avoid stuff falling from the ceiling, and move around all the boxes. On top of that, if you fall down, the conveyor belts move you all over the place. Half the time, into a pit. This scene is the bane of my existence. You have to basically do this whole level without messing up. And the more you do it, the more frustrated you get, which in turn means the more you f**k up. And as far as I know, there's absolutely no way to avoid hitting these two boxes. You have to make sure this is the only mistake you make, or else you're not going to make it to the end of the level. On top of the assembly line, there's still more shit to do. You have to keep running and jumping gaps. And then you have to control Pepsi Man surfing down the hallway on a blast door with fast twitch reflexes so you can get through the gaps on time. Actually, it's pretty fun, and it's a hell of a lot easier than those damn conveyor belts. Oh, come on, come on! Only 3 seconds left! Come on, Pepsi Man, you're almost there! Hell yeah! I just beat Pepsi Man for the PlayStation. Wait a minute. There's another scene? And it's one of those stages where Pepsi Man has to run from a giant can. That's so anticlimactic. Why didn't the game just end when Pepsi Man fixed the supercomputer? Look, nothing even happens to the giant Pepsi can. It just falls over. And look at the environment. It's just Pepsi cans, while Pepsi Man runs from another giant Pepsi can, spewing out other Pepsi cans. Is this some sort of joke? Did the developers just give up at this point? Did they think no one was masochistic enough to play the game all the way through? Well, I guess the joke's on me. Or was this just their last hurrah at their corporate brainwashing? The whole game just has an absurd amount of product placement. Pepsi billboards and giant Pepsi cans and Pepsi City, for crying out loud. Maybe the last level was just the whipped cream on top of the Pepsi float. By the end of the game, people were so brainwashed by the Pepsi advertising that they wouldn't even notice the lack of imagination. They would just slowly succumb into the darkness that is the world of Pepsi Cola. The unethical, fizzy, fattening, corn syrupy darkness. Jokes aside, Pepsi Man for the PlayStation actually isn't half bad. Its premise is just so silly you can't help but enjoy it. On top of that, the gameplay is super addictive to the point where you could easily lose an hour or two. But at times, its difficulty is just off the charts. There would have been no way I could have beaten this without save states. But as for its desired effect to influence consumers to buy their soda, I just don't think it worked. I mean, I think it's going to take a little more than a Pepsi-themed video game littered with product placement for me to fall into their corporate trap. I guess Pepsi Man for the PlayStation will just remain one of those peculiar games to fall into the void of video game history. Well, I'm Dalton Paul, the Humble Gamer. That does it for this review. Stay humble and keep gaming. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.